rock and roll. Take like, I think this is take 5 or something. Post-lockdown has not been good for me. Hey guys, so welcome to the Patreon page. I actually I've had so many technical difficulties. So hey, those of you that don't know me, I'm Christian Bartman. I'm from South Africa. I'm a musician this side of the world. And during lockdown, I changed my home studio into a recording or a broadcasting space, and I started broadcasting a bunch of shows. I did 86 shows during lockdown, and Patreon was one of the first platforms that I activated to see how it would work, because I didn't actually know how it will look, but I activated a bunch of different platforms, like 8 or 9 different financial platforms that could possibly fund me. And what was cool was Patreon, of course, didn't work that well at that point, because South Africa is not very well versed with Patreon. But I've been really watching this guy, Jake Conte, Conte. He's actually the CEO of Patreon, but Patreon. But I discovered his videos online, and I'm a big fan of his band Scary Pockets. And I started listening to his stuff, and I was just like, whoa, man, I'm buying what you're selling, dude. I really dig what you're saying. So I decided to come back to Patreon, and see if I can maybe reevaluate how I use this tool. So to give you guys an idea, during lockdown, of course, it was really bad. I'm a full-time musician. I've been doing this forever, for like 21 years odd. But for the last 5 years, it's all I've been doing. It's just music. I've left. It's been on and off, but the last 5 years has really been good. I think I'm in year 6 now. And what happened with lockdown is, unfortunately, all the gigs got cancelled. I would have had the best year of my career, 2020, and of course, that one day everything got cancelled. And I decided to, that same day, I converted my recording studio. Recording space, I converted into a broadcasting space. So I had a friend that is involved with broadcasting. He came in, he gave me a fantastic camera, this thing that's up here. It's not the best camera in the world, but it's the best webcam you can get. He gave it to me as a present. A bunch of mates came together, and they kind of got money together, and they bought me this thing, which I'm very grateful for. And of course, I had all the recording gear, and my landlord upgraded our internet to like 100 meg line for this time that we stayed here, and he wasn't using it in the evening, so that was everything. It just aligned nicely. So to give you an idea of the space, this was my recording space. It's in length quite long, 7.5 meters in length, and my recording on my desk usually stands exactly in the middle, for the best frequency range and the distance. And I usually had like a bunch of padding and absorptions and reflection everywhere, which I took out for the streaming thing. Now over there, that space was kind of the stage area, and over there was the camera. It's still, the cable is still up and everything in case I have to do something, and soft boxes and all that jazz that we got for the streaming stuff. So we converted the whole space into a recording space or a broadcasting space, which worked fantastically, and that's how I survived for the first few months of lockdown. I think the first 3 months was just people giving tips and paying money, and I'm just being grateful that we entertained them. Every night we did a new show, so every night we had a different theme. So we did over like 460 odd songs that we performed in the time. So you can do the math. That's what 460 divided by, a lot of this at the end we did a lot of repeats, but I mean 68, we did 460 odd new songs divided by 68 shows, so that was about 5.3 new songs per show that we learned. And we did every night, we did like a show for the first 2 months, and then we took it down to 1 or 2 every second day, and then weaned it down. It worked so well. I had 130,000 unique viewers in the first week, which was amazing. Then CNN International did an interview with us. Then I got a TED Talk that I performed and did a whole thing about about health, mental health within lockdown. It was just an amazing time. I did a bunch of stuff, online courses. I did a psychology diploma. I did 3 diplomas in video editing. I did a bunch of stuff in sound engineering. I did my first solo album that I produced. Did everything myself. So literally from pre-production, played most of the instruments. I literally only had a drummer and a electric guitarist. But the rest of the stuff I did everything myself, and mixed and mastered the whole thing. That was very daunting, but I did it. I'm very grateful for that whole experience. And then this year everything's going back open, but it's kind of, it feels like, I don't know how you guys are getting it, but South African market is broken. The music industry is definitely broken here in South Africa. We can talk about it for hours, but the reality of the situation is a bunch of musos are just undercutting each other and just busy, just being desperate and singing for ridiculously low amounts. And one of the things that I did last year, so one thing I try to do is, whatever the industry is doing, I try to go to the opposite side. So last year, no one was spending any money on new productions and music videos and things. And so I said, cool, I'm going to do it. So I spent a bunch of my savings and I sold a bunch of stuff. And I spent half of a year's income just on music production and releasing new stuff, which just catapulted my career in the South African music industry and my genre, which is Afrikaans. It's one of our 11 languages. It took me literally, I'm currently number 34 in South Africa, the 34th most played artist in all the genres. Which I went from nowhere to like number 34, and that's because I invested so much last year. But it was so much money. Like, I literally could have put the deposit down for a house with the amount of money I spent in a time I was making almost no money, just to try and gain momentum in this thing. So I re-looked at Patreon, and those of you that know about it, I started listening to the 6-figure home studio and all these things, and I just realized originally I got my recording studio for myself. It's not supposed to be a commercial space, and it's currently becoming a commercial space, but it's not a professional studio, so I can't really charge professional rates, right? So I work really hard for not the best income, and that was not the initial idea for the studio space. So one of the cool things I've decided to do now is I'm actually taking a day job. First time in like 5-6 years that I'm doing that. And just to kind of take the financial burden off a bit. And if it doesn't work, we've got an arrangement that after 3 months we can kind of renegotiate or see where we are. But I mean, the idea is really just to kind of, in case we also have a third wave in South Africa and the vaccines aren't being but it's not getting to the public at all in any kind of proper fashion. So I do think that we might have another lockdown in the next few weeks. So I just want to kind of get myself financially stable a bit, and then start looking at making my music again, getting the projects that's currently in my studio out. I've got one other client that I'm going to work with temporarily, like when I have from time to time, but I want to focus on my own stuff, get the Afrikaans stuff out, start looking at my English stuff again. That's what I've been really neglecting for the last 1.5 to 2 years. And that's where Patron comes in. You know, the idea of people kind of supporting my art and my music instead of me trying to survive. You know, I'm not getting younger, as you know. just like Jack, I'm losing a lot of the hair, and I really do want a wife and preferably like a house at some point. So yeah, I think I'm gonna really give this Patreon thing a go and get people to support me monthly. So this will hopefully be a bit more of a thing that I actually give content out more and spend more time on my YouTube channels and all the jazz, so that we can look at hopefully creating financial stability within the space to create music, and to also have other musicians engage within me, you know, and to be able to rent a cameraman for the day, instead of me putting a cell phone down and hoping that it will look okay. Getting a proper videographer in and to shoot stuff and also cover songs. I'm at a space where I'm really looking back at how cover songs work and how one could actually use that to empower yourself musically. So that being said, this is hopefully the first of a few videos. Let's see what happens. And I just want to give a quick taste of the kind of stuff I've been doing now. It's totally different to where I was in the past. So sorry, it's very coming from a weekend of gigs. I'm very hoarse, and there's also like a third time that I'm recording this, fourth time. So for even speaking for like 40 odd minutes without any water, all my technical difficulties. But this is the kind of stuff I'm looking at bringing out. They say, oh my gosh, I see the way you shine. Take my hand, my dear, and look me in the eye. You know you stopped me dead when I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Oh, I see you every time. Oh, and I like your style. You make me wanna cry. Now I beg to see you dance. Yeah, I beg to see you dance. Dance, baby, dance. Oh. I never seen anybody do that things you do before. Move for me, yeah. And when we're done, I'll make you do it, oh. Make you do it, oh. Dum dum dab dab bum da da dum doop da da dum doop doo dum. Dub 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 da dum 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 da da dum dum dub dub dum da da dum dum dum. Dum 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 da dum dum do. Dance for me, dance it up, do a better bum. I never seen anybody do that thing you do. Oh, you do before. Move for me, yeah. When you're done, I'll make you do it, oh. I'll make you do it all again. Rock and roll. Cool, guys, but I'll see you around. Sorry, my voice is officially done for the day. I'll see you around.